Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. It's Wicked here, and it's time for our little Monday art lesson. Today, I figured we would kind of do anatomy, but in a way that you probably may not have done. We're going to talk about zombies and how to draw zombies. So, the first thing is understanding that zombies, they're the undead, so they have a problem with walking upright. So it's kind of a struggle for them to keep their bodies up. So the first thing you want to do is start by learning the walk, and the way that they're positioned, and in such a way that they look like they're kind of slumped over, and kind of just like I said, just understanding the way that their bodies are positioned. You want to think of it kind of like gravity is really pulling down on them. So really kind of positioning their arms and legs in a way that kind of read that, right? So we want to make sure that we really focus on them kind of having a hard time standing up, right? So, same thing with the arms are really heavily being pulled down by gravity with almost kind of like a hang to them. Really placing the shoulders in a way that they're kind of slumped. Now, does that mean that they can't stand upright at all? No, it's just more of a position of what action, I guess, what action they're taking would be the best way to describe that. So really just kind of practice how they're going to be positioned. This would be more one that's kind of like overly slumped and hunched over. Maybe they have injuries to the extent that they're just not able to stand up in a way that's going to be conducive for it. So, like, we're not talking about like Dawn of the Dead type zombies. These are going to be more along the lines of like the truly undead, slow walking zombies. So, like, when they try or attempt to move faster, they're actually having more of a sway to their body. So they kind of go back and forth when they walk, just kind of like understanding their mannerisms. And like the best way to do that would be to obviously watch some zombie clips. If you're younger, you may want to just ask for permission first before you do anything like that. But again, just kind of positioning their legs and things in a way that denotes their challenge of trying to move. So you can see I'm not like focusing right now on details or anything like that. I'm just kind of getting a feel for the way they would move. So just different things along those lines, like, and then you can start focusing on, correct positioning, things of that nature, just from the standpoint that, like if you can see, like my torso is really huge compared to the rest of my legs and body. So once you get down those little sways and motions, then you want to kind of start, focusing on your actual anatomy, like size, and the way things will be positioned. Really kind of, some of those things with like the legs being turned in. I make that a little longer. You may have points where things cross over. Then you just start focusing on, like I said, the actual length of the legs and things like that. And this is just kind of like, the video I did with like stick figures. We're just really learning the positioning of everything. But I'm really using gravity to pull down on these zombies. To kind of really showcase the struggle, I guess you'd say, of, why they walk the way they do. Like I said, they struggle to keep their hands up. So just different things. Like I said, if you look, the gravity is really pulling our shoulders down. So if just drawing one that's just kind of meandering through, that'll help you kind of get the feel. And then we can go into starting to really build something up, right? And make ourselves, really be able to draw something. So we're going to come in here, right? And then we're going to start focusing on construction and muscles and things like that. So like if I just kind of start here with my neck, I can start, building out different things into like the head. Start thinking about placement of my chin and things like that. But before I go into too much detail on the head, I want to finish building out the neck. So again, thinking about, the gravity and the way it's going to pull down on the body and which way it's going to contort and switch around. So I'm going to construct muscle work into shoulders, and this is why when I said in one of my previous videos, one of the new ones of this year, getting back to basics with anatomy, one of the reasons why I said, studying the bones and stuff, because if you were to ever do something that was like zombie related, and you really want to get like a understanding of how to make them emaciated or super skinny, knowing those bone connections can kind of help you highlight specific areas of the body, right? And again, just trying to keep things in place. And then again, it depends on, what it is that you want to try and get out of the zombie itself. If it's going to be clothed or whatever, that'll determine the amount of detail that you can put in there. But you really just want to, focus on those muscles. So you can see I made the chest muscle intentionally kind of small. So again, we want to go for that kind of a emaciated, really super skinny look. So drawing the arms with little to no detail at all, thinking about the way the muscles turn. And the best way, again, to do this is to just look up, pictures of the human body so that you can actually go in there and see how the forearm muscles twist around the bones. Right, so you can see it kind of builds the arm out. Again, just another layer of that muscle. Right, and then that would just go down right into the hand. And again, just simply having our muscle structures built out. That can also assist in the proper placement and building of everything. Again, getting back to, muscles and things of that nature. Really focusing on the different parts and where they're laid out. And if you see, I'm slowly building out these muscle groups, because what that'll do is if you start drawing that way, it'll help you actually decide, what kind of zombie you want to have, and then you can go in and add any and all detail that you wish to have, right? So, since we're emaciated and don't really have a lot of space or a lot of chest muscles, we can come in here. I can add in that other collarbone, as well as come off the neck and get that other trapezius muscle in here and run that down into the collarbone. And again, we just have ourselves a nice reference point for that. Okay, have our chest on this side come down in the way it's turned. We can have it kind of start this way and kind of have it turn the same way. Kind of shorten that up a little bit. So we want to make sure, like, see how the chest line comes down here? We want to make sure that that kind of stays even. And that's why we can give it that kind of a edged look. With the muscle there. And then again, just thinking about shoulder placement. And rounding that in. So again, we're slowly building up what we need in our image to sell our zombie. Now, does that mean you have to draw like this every single time? No. I'm showing you the kind of beginner points. And then from there, once you kind of have that down, you no longer have to like super duper go into this kind of detail. You can then just kind of draw without construction lines. Let's kind of take that back. And just kind of build things up in a way that's going to be easier and comfortable for you. So you can see I'm really focusing down into my abdomen area. Again, just building up muscle structure. So you probably want to really stretch this out because we want them, again, they just kind of have that emaciated look. Now, does that mean there's no big zombies out there? Yes, of course. But if we're talking about just doing basic, generic zombies, that's the way that we're taking this one. And you can see by adding this curve to the body, I'm allowing myself to get that lean in there that I was talking about, with kind of showing the gravity of the body itself out to those hips, right? Same thing, you have to think about where the arms are leaning, things of that nature. So we want to kind of have the right twist to the arms themselves. So bringing that bicep a little bit closer. Come out into that forearm. Excuse me, hiccups again. You know, getting that muscle to wrap around where it should. So this should actually kind of connect up into the bicep. We can kind of draw our fibers in a way that build up to that underside of the arm. Right down into the elbow. Okay, so like from here, we have that forearm, continuing to wrap, like that. And let's kind of pull this back some more. More of an even flow off the forearm muscle. Right down into the wrist. Then we can just simply turn our hands in whatever direction is needed. Like that can be our pinky kind of curled up right there. Kind of curve out to the next one. And again, it just depends. Like you can, if you wanted them to have their arm cut off, you could use this opportunity to do that or decide, but that's why I'm keeping things basic so that if I chose to say lop this arm off, I don't have to worry too much on drawing the entirety of the fingernails and things like that. Okay, so we got a thumb coming out here. Again, just a basic hand. It doesn't have to be anything super detailed. More of a natural curve come off the wrist here. Come down into our thumb. And then you really want to give that kind of creepy bony feel to the finger. Make sure that you keep it, you know, somewhat bumpy, but really showcasing the shapes of those fingers. A little bit of a pinky right there. And we have essentially our body set up the way that we want. Now, we do need to come in and start working the rest of our head shape. Okay, so simple things like a slight turn in here for the neck. You know, maybe we know that we're going to have our mouth open. So we can just build the head up that way. You know, from a point here on the chin, we'd have to have some type of cheek, right? And there's some high, cheekbones. Build up our nose to where we want it. And of course, right into our head shape. So let's bring our chin out some more. Kind of set up our head. And get our ear in here. And again, just all placeholders for the final image that we're going for. And kind of a spot for our eyes. And our face, right? So now we kind of have a decent setup here. In hindsight, I would probably in the future, move the head down more. Maybe not have it sit so high. But now we can start working on the fleshy details, right? So we got to start thinking about how our face is going to look. So certain things like if I want like the ear to seem like it's been bitten off or missing pieces, we can start looking at things like that. And what kind of aspects of the ear is visible right down in there. Really kind of try to fill in the chewed up parts. Now, if we were a close-up picture on the face, it'd be a little bit easier for us. And then down here in the face, we can think about our teeth, for instance. Like what kind of teeth we want our zombie to have. How many of his teeth have been lost, if he's missing any. Things like that, again, are going to be up to you and your choices and decision. So maybe I want like a little gap right there in the teeth. And then same thing down here on the bottom. Now you don't have to draw individual teeth if you just wanted to do more of a cartoony style. You could. Okay. So now that I have my teeth in place, I can start thinking about what the skin is doing, right? Like what, so most zombies, when you see them, they kind of like have had their face chewed a little. So I can kind of have like the upper lip kind of missing here and have that reconnect right here to the skin. But again, you can bring out some kind of tears in the flesh. And then have like an overexposure. So like the flesh is what's been cut, but like we can still kind of see the gums a little. I'm going to erase this line right in here. Maybe add in another tooth. And we could do other things like, you know, missing skin. Where there's tears in the face, right here. So it's almost like there's a hole. So I could really bring that line out there. Same goes, you know, with this side of the face. Maybe I have like a tear. And then it kind of helps sell, you know, the inner portion of the mouth here to get some separation to it from the skin. We can just fill that in dark right there. Right, and then the whole like bottom lip down here, right? Like how much of it is exposed and chewed away. So again, we can kind of put in those little tears there with some like chunks of skin, you know, connecting right back. I mean to connect those two together. Just connecting right back into the mouth right there. And it kind of gives us, you know, an illusion of the skin being torn. Same thing here. This area, like maybe you want to go a little overboard. And we have the nose is missing. So there's nothing there. And then what we can do here is we can bring down the chin a little bit more. Right? Other little things that we can have, if you wanted to keep some of the nostril there, like it's not completely missing. Maybe they just kind of bit off to the bridge right here. Like that. And then we can kind of start setting up the eyes. So For the most part, a zombie is dead as far as its flesh goes. So things with the eyes can vary, right? We want to think about like how much flesh is distorted, while at the same time thinking about how we can highlight different areas. So just putting in some wrinkles and cut details there in the eye, we can kind of make it look like, some flesh has been ripped, and then just really kind of darken and thicken out that bottom area more to put more emphasis on the eyes. So like down in here, I know I want that kind of cloudy looking pupil. Again, I can add some darkness. The eye socket here. And kind of build up the top bridge. And build that up. But then we want to kind of have the same ordeal with the other eye. Now it also depends too what you're going for and how grotesque you want it to look. You could have him missing his eye completely on this other side. Again, that's completely up to you and what you want to do here at this point. What we really want to build that high cheekbone. And again, what that allows for us to have is a more, I'm just putting those little eye details underneath here. Allows us to have more shape to the face to make it seem like it's more emaciated. Again, just kind of building it up from there. Any other details that you want to add in there are going to be personal choice. Again, depending on how detailed you want to go, will obviously determine the shape of things, how long it's going to take you to draw, things of that nature. Okay. So now we can start thinking about the head itself. All right, so I can build that up. Maybe somebody has attempted to try and take this zombie out with a, we'll just make up something. We'll say a baseball bat. And so we have part of the skull exposure here. With some skin on the side of the head. And then obviously I can add in some shading to denote the difference between the two areas. Okay, and we're not going to focus on things like hair and that today. We're just going to say that our zombie was bald. Okay, other little things, wrinkles, things of that nature that you want to add in to help you kind of, determine the age. Maybe it's just an older zombie, so he's got more wrinkly skin in place. Again, I'm going to go through and thicken up the outside edge on these areas that I'm done with, just so that it stays in with my style of just having that thick outside edge. Right? So now we have these nice little tears in here. We got the gums all lined up with the teeth. Right? Again, I want to kind of build up the shadow in some of these areas where the skin is missing, just so it sticks out some more. And then let's start thinking about the neck. Okay, like, do I need all that muscle detail in there in order to sell my neck shape? And the answer to that is no, I don't. Okay, kind of thick up the back edge shadow here. And go under the neck that way. So again, I don't need the entirety of what I built. In order to detail the zombie. Okay, and remember, it just depends on you on how grotesque you want this zombie to be. So I don't have to have like missing chunks of the neck. If he didn't get bit in the neck, maybe he got bit in the arm, and we want to go that route, that's fine too. So again, with the chest, I can build up the details, right, with the collar, but I don't necessarily need all of it on the lower half, so that I can have it look like it's more poking through the skin, right? So again, I just build up my muscles right from in there. Have my shoulder come off. Maybe see a little bit of the muscle there. And just build out our chest. Okay. So again, it's just you dependent. And, even though looking at my own image, because good Lord, I couldn't tell you the last time I drew a zombie. There's things that I would do to make corrections. But the other thing I'm trying to get you guys to do is to accept your mistakes and just move on and learn from them, right? That way you're not just stuck on a particular spot too long, because this part of your study should be just considered practice, right? We should be making mistakes. We should be messing up. And just continuing to move forward from there. Let's cut down that shoulder muscle. Really bring that in. And then like in here, you can add in a little bit more emaciation and stretching into the skin by adding in these little kind of chest rivet looking things. It's just really just the muscles being pulled and stretched. You don't have to do a completely done circle for the nipple on the chest. Just giving that illusion of the edge will help. Thickening up certain parts to make it darker. Completely up to you and the level of detail that you're putting into your image, right? So again, you got areas like this, like with the sternum. You can start adding in smaller details that kind of sell the skin in there. Again, we can sell this down. By stretching the chest. I can pull back these edges. To a point. And then just maybe just kind of connect it like that there. So let's go ahead. Do that the same. We'll cut this back some. Again, just build that chest up. Now a few curve-in spots. Right in there. Okay. So again, it's just starting with the structure first, and then kind of, going in. So some things that I know that I'm going to want. I think we're going to chop this arm off. Just kind of have that. And let me bring this down the rib cage here. I'm going to erase that out. Just kind of have like a partial, thing going here. Here under that chest cavity, I can probably thicken that up to give more of a shadowed look to it. Again, to help us identify a bone structure a little bit under the chest. We can have some line work come in there. I'm just kind of thickening up where it kind of connects. All right. And again, it's all up to you. It's little or as much detail as you would like to bring into these rib cages. It's going to be up to you. Maybe have a little more roundness right there. So again, it'll kind of help us bring out what it is that we're looking for. Same inside here. I don't actually want that completely touching. So I'm just going to kind of cut it back again. So you're just kind of picking and choosing what areas of the body, muscle wise, that you're going to have touching or exposed. You know, where you kind of put a navel in there. And then maybe this person just for some reason had the shirt ripped off, so we can kind of cut that down there. And we can kind of add in an abdomen shape. Same right in here. Gonna build up that abdomen shape. Okay. So we're gonna keep this arm and kind of cut that bicep down just a little bit. And just have that run down. Then we can start building the muscle line work that we actually want on the arm. So like to a point, we can have that forearm detail. Again, just to kind of showcase some definition into our arm. But then knocking it back enough I can now clean out some of, so you can see how it's kind of helping us build up some of the shapes for even things like the arm and the hands, right? So again, I'm keeping this very mild. We could do super, creepy, but at the same time, I'm not trying to, gross people out as I'm drawing here either. The object is not to run you away and say, yeah, because like I could go crazy and just have like all kinds of intestines, things like that, but I think that might be a bit much for what we're trying to do. If you want to, really get into that, again, just your best bet's going to be studying the anatomy of, entrails, your intestines, just how that all looks, what that would look like if it was hanging out of somebody. You could get references from any number of anatomy books, or heck, even just horror movies in general. Again, I'm not going to push it that far with this one. And I'm just putting tiny little nails on there. Again, just for the sense of it. Okay, so again, I'm keeping with my usual style. I'm kind of thickening up these lines. As we go. Again, just so it pops off the page a little bit more. Now here, we're going to do a belt buckle. Let's say this person had some jeans on. I can put like a slight V-shape indicator right there. Cut that back. Again, we can put that belt on right there. And kind of darken that edge right in there for the belt itself. Now we can use this line that we have here to kind of give the belt some thickness to it. And round that back down. And I can keep that kind of line going there. Again, that'll just kind of be our edge on the upper part of our belt. So I'm just going to kind of darken that. Like that. Obviously, we're going to need the belt loops themselves. Just to give a sense that it's jeans. Again, we can kind of cut that back. Kind of hide that off right there. And we can do one more, a little bit bigger. Again, just to make it look like we have some genes. You don't have to go super detailed. We can just kind of make sure we get that zipper part right in there. Just kind of have our genes go down. Okay, so the next thing I can do is start working in this other side here. Again, just kind of give that feel for the muscle that's right in there. Just have that kind of run off the arm. Definitely use that forearm here, but now we're going to break, right? We're going to break that arm off. Okay, so we're going to break it off to about right here. I'm going to keep this just for an instant. Okay. So this is where you can kind of go in and add that skin like it's missing. All right. I can take, I'm just going to use a bigger eraser just so I can erase quicker. I'm going to take that whole hand away. All right. And then I can utilize what I know about the arm and how it's split into two bones. And we can make this one a little longer. And have that coming out. Yeah, if you want a little bit of that gore in there. You're going to have the blood coming off the arm. Maybe in some other places right here by the wrist. Again, it's your design, your detail, whatever it is you want to do in there. And you can probably add a little bit more right there in the hand just to give it some stuff. But essentially, that is going to do that for our how to draw zombies. I hope you learned something. If you want me to dive a little bit more into this or any other subject, please leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Whether you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, you gotta let me know. Okay? It's the only way I can help you get the content that you want is if you let me know what you want to see more of. Okay? Other than that, I hope you had fun. I hope it didn't creep you out too much. Like I said, we could have went real heavy on the gore, but I decided to hold back on that. But I do hope you learned something about anatomy in general, just especially with the muscle construction. If you're not subscribed and you like what you saw, hey, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, favorite, whatever you want. Other than that, I'm just glad you stopped by. Remember to keep on sketching, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye.